Well, I guess now it fires. Should probably put some bits back on it and see if it'll do more than fire. G'day everybody, welcome back. The Ford is firing. We need to get it to run. I'll walk you through a couple of quick things that we've done in the last few days just to make it at this point, and then we'll put it back together and try and start it and see how we go. So I can report that the passenger side of the tractor, the left-hand side in Australia, is done. I got the oil filter cartridge to seal. That was just a nightmare, but I worked out what I was doing wrong. I am going to need a new tacho cable if I decide to put it back in, and I still have to fix the alternator wiring, which is pretty simple. Little one to the little plug, big one to the big plug. I've got the rocker cover off simply so I could set the clearances on the valves. It's 0.14 to 0.16 for exhaust and 0.17 to 0.19 on the 0.14 to 0.16 on the inlet, 0.17 to 0.19 on the exhaust. Pretty comfortable with them. These are a really different valve setting. They're just a really tight screw fitting. It's really weird. Part of getting it to fire and getting it to run a little bit was to make sure that the oil was getting to the valve train, which it is, which is pretty good. I have found that this bracket is broken where it joins to the fuel tank. We can fix that a little bit later in theory, I think. I've just got to check that. Yeah, so that's those two bolts. This will come off and I'll get it welded up. From a wiring perspective, I don't need the wiring fixed to start it, but I will fix the wiring before I wrap it up. What else? The safety switch is US. We got the shroud and the fuel tank off. No issues there. It's just a really hard job. The radiator is still holding liquid after 2 weeks. That's a very big positive. When it fired and when it was turning over yesterday, I was getting fuel out of the injector lines, which, considering there's no fuel connected, means it was pulling it out of here, which is good, which means it's got all the old fuel out. Happy days. And I got the steering wheel off, which was a pig. So the plan is to move the battery, pull the wiring back over the top, put the fuel tank on, put the fuel line on, put some fuel in it, put the battery tray on, work out where to put my negative, because I've got to work out where the negative's supposed to be, because I haven't worked that out yet. And yeah, push the button. So we'll see in a few minutes. Okay, so battery tray is on. I am going to have to rethink where this positive and this negative lead run. I think the negative's supposed to go to this manifold and the positive's supposed to come down around here. I'll sort that out later. Fuel lines are done up. I've got fuel through to the filters and through to the pump. These two injectors, the 1 and 3, are done up. 2 is loose. Let's give it a whirl. Just got to find somewhere to put the camera. Well, that's encouraging. We just need a better spot for the camera. So we've run into a small problem. It's gone flat, so I'm going to wait for the solar to do its thing, free energy. I'll go get a radiator cap, get some more aero start. The black shit doesn't work, the yellow shit works good. And then when I come back, I'll probably put the radiator shroud on and bolt that down, bolt the radiator down, and let the battery and the starter motor cool down. Promising signs. I think it's just the fuel just isn't getting through the pump yet, through the injectors. I've got fuel at the injector inlet point. I just don't have it in the cylinders enough yet. So we'll just keep cracking along. So a couple of hours later, where are we at? Battery charging, front shroud on, radiator on, everything bolted down. I do have to work out how to get that socket off because it's stuck on the 14mm bolt, which is probably not 14mm, and that's why it's stuck. Gave everything a clean, got the wiring out of the way. And at this point, I think we're ready to have another go. Now, if we run out of voltages this time, I'm just going to wheel the car in and put the battery on until it gets warm. And I got some more of the magic fluid because this one works and the other one doesn't. Okay, so that's definitely not running on aero start for that extended period of time, and it's got to do with throttle and air, and I think I might have another problem. So I'm not hugely worried about the knocky noise yet. I think I might have a diesel leak here, which I'm going to have to fix, and this is the throttle. So the throttle's up near the steering wheel, and I just can't quite get it to stay on and do everything all at the same time. So I'm going to have a little rethink. So yeah. Anyway, so we're making progress, and we're going to wrap it up there because it's lunchtime. So we'll let the battery charge, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll have another go. So a little persistence pays off, and I was getting ready when this thing first wouldn't turn to just pull the wrecker and tow it away. But, you know, and then a couple of times in the last few days it's been like, nah. And then I found a dead cat in the yard this morning and I knew the omens were good. So, there you go. Thanks for watching. Next time we'll have it all back together and the wiring sorted, and we're going to take it for a drive on the driveway, assuming it starts again. It is a little bit noisy, but I don't know if that's how Ford 4000s are supposed to sound. So, yeah, super stoked. See you next time.